Okay, then let's see this in action. So first thing first, I need to go to the ASA and let's configure the failover LAN interface first. For I have to go, so I have to go to both the ASA1 and ASA2. So let's log into ASA1. Yes, and then ASA2. Okay, let's name them so that we know. Config key, host name ASA1. I want to show something now. Enable config key, host name ASA2. Yeah. So first thing first, the interfaces that we are using for LAN is ETH3 and E3 for the configure application and the heartbeat. And one more thing you need to understand that for bringing up the ASA into active standby, first thing first, you need to have the same interfaces on both the sides. Hardware wise also this should be the same box, and also you should have the software version as well as same. And remember the interfaces that are connected to on the Ethernet 0, because see, you will be configuring the active box, right? And the configurations will be replicated on the standby box. So for example, ETH0 on active is connected to the outside. If you connect ETH0 on the inside on the standby box, then the IP address will be assigned on the inside on the other box. So that you need to be very cautious, because all the interfaces should be same, and the type of interfaces should also be the same. If it's Ethernet, if it's gigabit Ethernet, so you just look into the nitty-gritty of these things, right? You can just search online, and there are lots of things that you need to know. But just a short idea about this is the hardware should be same, the interfaces should be same, interface type should be same, software version should be same, and there are lots of things that need to be same. So you can just research. Okay, now we are in the ASA2, sorry, ASA1, and we have to go to the Ethernet 3. So interface Ethernet 3, unshut this, physically no shut, and then that's the first step to initialize the active standby. So first thing first, you have to configure the LAN interface. So how do you do it? You say failover, then you say interface, then LAN. If you hit a question mark here, you have the IP word here. But what I want to do is, so before interface, this is for the configuration of the IP address. But before that, you have to specify the LAN interface. So you say LAN. If you just hit a question mark here, you see LAN and you see link. See LAN and link. This is what I was talking about. This is for the configure application, and the heartbeat, this is for the stateful connection replication. And then you also have the key and other things. But for now, what we need is failover LAN, and then you say interface, and then you say the name of the interface. So I'll say that this is my failover LAN, because I'm configuring the LAN, and then I specify the port, which is Ethernet 2. Yeah. So whenever you do this, the configuration is cleared. Okay, and then you go now and say the configure the IP address. So you do the failover interface. Now you have specified which one is my failover link. Then again the same name. So you will be configuring all the IP based on the name, all the configuration based on the name. So you are configuring the IP address of the failover LAN, the fail LAN, which is actually Ethernet 3, but this is the virtual name. So this will be replicated on the active box. Okay, so I will keep this as 100.100.100.255.255.255. Then here only you have to specify the standby. What is going to be the standby IP address? So 100.100.100.200. So whichever box that is standby will have this IP address. And then, as I said, that primary and secondary is the priority, right? So here you go and say failover LAN, and then unit, and then here you can say primary and secondary. So ASA1 is my primary, I want this to be active. Then for authentication, you can also do failover key. So I'll do key and I'll say Cisco 123. Yeah, and then you have to activate this failover with the command failover. So ASA1 is a configure. Now we'll go to ASA2 and we'll do the same thing. If you go here, show run failover. So all this is same, just for the failover unit you will specify secondary here. So let me grab a notepad so that I can just copy paste this command there. So I'll go and get a notepad and I'll paste it here, and instead of primary I will say secondary. That's the only difference on the both sides. And IP address also will be configured like this. So Cisco 123 is the key. So first thing first, I will go here, Control X, Control V. I'll copy this to Control X, Control V here. I want the failover after this. Control V here. So I'll copy all of this and go to ASA2. This is my ASA2. Paste it, and you say failover. Once you do failover, it will detect the I'm not unshuttered the interface, so I'll say no failover here. So if you check here, show interface IP brief, I think interface 3 is shut right now. Yeah, so I'll go to interface the Ethernet 3 and no shut, and that I will say failover. That is what I need to do. Now I should be here also say no active made detected. So the the configuration should be done in back to back. So if you're doing ASA1, ASA2 should be on a shutdown state, and then unshut when you have done the configuration on ASA1. Now in this case, what you have to do, you have to just go and say no failover on both the sides, and here also no failover. Yeah, and now again say failover, and again restart the process on both the sides, say failover. That's it. Now wait for this to detect the mates. It will take some time. It's saying no active mate detected. Now it's saying beginning configuration rebooting. So that means it has detected the standby. So now let's see, end configuration to mate. So it has done the configuration. So now let's see. If you say failover, this is the command from which you can see the configuration. So you can say this is your primary and this is your active. So because of that primary keyword, which is the priority, this box has become active, and secondary is my standby. If you run the same command on this standby interface, and first of all, now let's see, you can see the host name was ASA2 here. Now when I enter here, you can see the host name has been changed to ASA1. And if you do the failover command here, show failover, you will see that this has the secondary, but this is my standby, and it's standby ready, and the primary is active. So I'm not the primary, I'm the secondary, and I'm the standby. On the active box, I'm the primary and I'm the active. Yeah. So now whatever configuration you do, you have to do it on the active box. So let's see, let's go to the interface on the ASA. So for my external is Ethernet 0, right? So I'll go into interface. The configuration are same as we did in the previous videos. Just a change is that you have to specify the standby IP address here as well. So you say no shut, and then you say name if. So this is my outside interface. Yeah. And then you say IP address. This is my 192.1.20, 192.1.20.10, and then the subnet mask. 255.255.0, and after this you have to specify the standby IP address. So standby is my 20. So this ASA1 is my .10, this is .2, but this IP address has to be configured on the active box. So I'm going to the active box, and from there I'm configuring the standby IP as well, 20.20. So that is the little difference between your this normal configuration and the active standby configuration. Now if I go to my ASA2, so this is my ASA2, if I say show interface IP brief, you will see that IP address will be reflected here. You can see the one I configured on the ASA one, the active box, is reflecting on the standby box. So that failover LAN link is working perfectly fine. Now I have to go here and say I will also specify a route on the outside interface, a default route which I'll be pointing towards the R3, this one. So I'll keep this as .30, so I'll point it on the .30. So route outside 00192.1.20.30. So this is my R3. So I've pointed the route there. So now I need to configure my inside interface, which is my Ethernet 1. So I'll go here, interface Ethernet 1, no shut, name if is my inside. Yeah, inside, and automatically the security level will be set to 100. And now I have to say IP address. And then this side is my 10.11.11.10, 255.255.255.0, and standby 10.11.11.20. So that is my standby on my secondary or the standby box. It will automatically update this on the standby. So if I go on the standby, you can see it's showing the information here that something has been reflected here. So if I go, show IP interface brief, so you can see that the IP address is reflected here. So now after this, what I need to do is I will go on R4 and R3 and configure the IP addresses there, and then we'll see do a telnet from R4 to R3. So no here, and as well as on R3 I need to go and enable telnet as well, right? So I'll go here, no here. So this is my R4, which is my inside. So this will be 10.11.11.40, or say 4. Let's keep 40 because I've kept the outside as 30. Yeah. So let's go here for a couple of more seconds. And so as of now, the HA active standby is up and running. And now I'll go here, enable, and I will say config key, hostname I'll say inside. Yeah, like this interface, I think it's gigabit 0/0. Let me just check quickly. Yeah, gig 00. I'll say IP address 10.11.11.40 255.255.255.0, no shut. And then I need a default route, and I'll go exit, and I'll say IP route 00000000, and my active IP address I will give 11.11.10. Yeah. So end here and write, and if I go to R3 on the outside, yeah, this one, enable config key, host name I'll keep as outside, all caps. Yeah, interface again gig 0/0, no shut, IP address 192.1.20.40 on this side, 255.255.255.0. yeah, and then exit. Now I need the line VTY. I need to configure the telnet here. Line VTY login password is my Cisco. Yeah, and then I'll say login, and then I say transport input all. So my telnet is up. So if I do show IP interface brief, and if I try to reach the IP address on the outside 192.1.20.10, do, okay, I need to specify do here. So this should be successful. Yeah, and if I go and try the 20 on the standby, that also will be successful, but only 10 is the one that is responding, right? So if I go here from the inside, if I ping 10.11.11.10, so it's up, and also 20 is up, but my default gateway is 10, so all the traffic will be going through 10. So let's do a telnet now from here to the IP address on the outside 20. Before that, I need to do a NAT. So let's do a NAT on the ASA. So for that, I have to go to my object object network. I'll say INS, I mean that is the inside, and I'll keep the subnet as okay, let's do what? Oh, am I on the active one? I think I'm not on the active one. So if I go exit here, and if I say show failover, you will come to know. So this is my secondary, and you cannot do here. So I'll go on the active. Yeah, this is the one. So if I go here and I say object network INS subnet, for the inside I have 10.11.11.0 255.255.255.0. Yeah, then I do the NAT and do a pat inside comma outside, and then I'll say dynamic, and then I'll say interface. So that is fine. Exit. And if I go and say show run NAT, you will see, I mean, that the same will be replicated on the show run on the secondary. So I mean, that makes sense to you now. And now if I do the telnet from here, that is 192.1.20.40, that is my not 40, sorry, it should be 30 on the outside. This should go through my ASA 1, and it should connect to my which one? Yeah, R3. But I don't think okay, so there should be a NAT that should be working. So on my R1, if I go to ASA 1, if I say show NAT details, and if I say show xlate, there should be a translation. Yeah, I have the translation 40 getting translated to 10. Yeah, so this should reach my R3, and let's do it once again. Sometimes fails for the first time. It's not working. I don't know why. Let's go to R3. Let's check it, and I'll do exit, and I'll say debug IP packet details to see if this is actually receiving the packet here or not. Let's wait for this to time out the telnet that I tried. First of all, let me see if this show IP address interface brief that I've configured here. So I configured the wrong IP address. So this has to be 30. I don't know why I configured 40. Yeah. So on R3, I go to interface gigabit 0 bar 0 IP address 192.1.20.30 255.255.0. Yeah, so that should be okay now. You all, and now go to R4. Yeah, do the connection again, and this is working now, right? Cisco is the. So now what I want to show you is, so if you see the show user, I mean, this is just the normal stuff. This is the .10 of the outside interface, and that too of the active one, right? .10. Because if you do, if it was translated on the secondary, the backup, the standby, actually, it should be .20. So anyways, that's what I'm not worried about. What I'm worried about and what I want to show you is actually, so if you see here, show con, now the connection table is there, but if you go to the standby and do the same show connection command, the connection is not there. So this type of active standby is called as the stateless active standby. Now, if you want to make this as a what do you say, a stateful, so you have two options. Either you can run the failover link on the same failover LAN interface, but it is recommended that you should have a separate failover link interface wherein you will synchronize the connections, right? In order to use the LAN interface as the link interface, there is just one command. So you need to go to the active again and just type one command, that is failover. Then you say link, this time not LAN. So link, and then you say the name of that failover LAN command, name of that interface of the failover LAN that we configured, right? So and then you say the interface of that LAN interface, right? The first one, Ethernet 3, because we're using the LAN interface to carry the link information, and you hit enter, and that's it. That's, I mean, how you do it. The do the if you see the failover here, you can see it is unconfigured, right? Before. Now if I go and do the same command, show failover, you will see that error is not there, and you can see this has been configured now. Yeah, and it will show the status. Now if I go to our this one and I say exit, yeah, and I'll do the same thing again. Cisco 123 Cisco, I think it's so I'm inside, and now if I see the show con on ASA1, it is there as usual. But if I go to ASA2 and do the same command again, you can see the connection table has been synchronized. Yeah. And one more thing, so if you want to do it on the same interface, that is how you do it, right? Now if you want to do it on the, so this is the other one. Okay, now if you want to do it on the second interface, you want to have a separate LAN interface and a separate link interface. So let's go to this ASA and just take out this command. So I will go and say a no and paste it like this. Now if I see the failover again, it should show me the same error again. So in case you want to do it on a separate interface, what you do, you go to that interface, first of all, interface Ethernet 2, yeah, then you say no shut, then the command is failover link this time, and then you specify the name. Now we specified failover LAN for the LAN interface, I'll specify failover link and then the interface Ethernet 2 that I'm using. Yeah, that's done. Now after that you have to configure an IP address. So it's like you did for the LAN. Again, failover interface IP. Now you specify the name of the interface, name of the interface that you specified as failover link, fail link, and then the IP address. So I will specify a 192 series here, 192.168.1.1 and 255.255.255.0, and the standby as 192.168.1.2. Yeah, that's done now. Now if you see show failover again, it is up. See, now the failover is again up, and if you do the same thing again outside, exit, yeah, and you do the same thing again, Cisco, and you go to ASA1 and say show con, the connection is there, go to ASA2, show con, the connection is there. Yeah, and there is one more thing to understand. So in case you want to in case the firewall dies, obviously this will take over, but in case you want to forcefully change the role, this you would usually do when you are going to perform an upgrade on the ASA, right? So for example, I want to make ASA as the primary, so the command is failover and then active. The box you want to make as active, go to that box and type this command. Once you do this, it is switching to active. And if I go to R4 and see, the connection is still intact. And if I say users, even though I switched from ASA1 to ASA2, the telnet connection is still there. It was not dropped. And the standby will take IP address of the active, right? Now it's active, so it will take the IP address. So this is now a secondary and active. So I can see it from here. If I say show failover, now you can see, even though I'm secondary, but I'm the active box. Yeah, and even though I'm the other side is primary, but he is the standby. So if I go to R4, with respect to R4, if you check the show R, so I'm on the outside, exit. If you check show R here, let's see what is the IP address of this is my 10, this is the active one. So this is what I am looking for. So 5000.001.001, right? Let's go to ASA, active ASA, and go to the let's say show interface Ethernet 1. And if you check the IP address, MAC address here, so this is the one, right? Now if you go to the show interface failover, okay, no, not here. This is my router, right? I want to go here. failover. I don't have the failover here. Show interface ETH1, right? Now I'll go to the standby as well. Show interface Ethernet 1. So you can see the MAC address is the same. Yeah, so it has taken over that MAC address so that the R4, right? It doesn't need to do the ARP again and again. I think it is no, it is the 1 and the other side is what? Need to see. Wait a second. Yeah, this is 2. So wow, okay. So I need to clear the ARP here. Clear ARP cache. Now if I see show ARP, still there. I don't know why it's still there. Should be cleared. Show ARP. Then I say interface gigabit 0 by 0. Okay, it's the it's learning both the MAC address on that interface. So it has done the R, and now okay, because this is the active standby. Okay, so now the R will be replied by the 11.20. Okay, you can see it has learned 11.20. Or maybe because I pinged on 11.20, it's learning like that. So let's go to, okay, I want to clear this. I want to clarify this thing. What happens to the MAC address? Who is the one, or is the MAC address changed, or it is the, even though IP address has been taken over, I want to see if the MAC address is also taken over by the secondary now. So how to do it? I need to clear the R cache here, and okay, I'll clear the IP at 10.11.11.20 and 10. Yeah, so now if I do show R here, still it's showing. I don't know, there's a bug or something here on this. Well, okay, why don't you do this? I have given you this task. You go on and check what happens to the MAC address, and comment in the section. Does it remain the same, or does the MAC address change? So this IP, this is not the one you need to look. Okay, this is actually the one you need to look to. So IP address should be the same, but in this case, I am seeing only 001, right? While as if I go to ASA2, I see that the interface MAC is 00100. That means that the IP remains same, but the MAC address has been changed. So it's, now for 10, for .10, ASA2 is who responds for the ARP. Before that, ASA1 was responding to the ARP request for 10.11.11.10. Yeah. So I think you understood this failover concept of active and standby. And that's it for this video. I will see you in my next video. Till then, bye-bye.